Hello there, and welcome now to stage 2 of your projects in MMDD 255 Emerging Multimedia Practice 2. Now, by the time you watch this video, you should have thought deeply and considered what it is that you might do for your project in this class and put together a grand proposal document and plan, setting the foundation for what you'll begin working on now that we enter the pre-production stage. This stage, as I'll go over here in this video, is really all about your pre-production work, of course, just starting to get your ideas down on paper, metaphorically speaking, right? You can also get them done sort of digitally, but it's all about initially putting all of your ideas down to have a good structure for moving on to the next stage. This is also the stage when we will meet one-on-one to discuss your projects here towards the start of the semester to ensure that you're all good to go to keep moving forward with what you're working on. So I'll just go ahead and get into Blackboard. As always, let me go ahead and open up the critical path here, and we'll take a look at it where we will see that yes, you have at this point completed at least weeks 1 and 2 of the course. You should have also connected with your team by this point and gotten a picture with them, right, to prove that you are humans that can interact with one another. And here we are now in stage 2 pre-production. And, when I was sort of scheduling out this semester, I did end up giving the most time to stage 2, right? So you're given 3 weeks for this, whereas stage 3 and 4, you're given 2 weeks each. Now, usually I would actually have 3 weeks for stage 2, 3 weeks for stage 3, and 1 week for stage 4. But I sort of split it up in this way instead because I feel like last term, things were rushed quite a bit there at the end with getting your case study together and all of that. So we're going to see how this goes. So giving you the most time for pre-production, right, which might seem potentially like it doesn't make sense to you, right? You're like, why don't I spend the most time, working in After Effects or whatever? But it's because, once again, the more time you spend really getting all of this down and set up and the structure for it, then once you get into the production phase, it shouldn't take quite as much time because you won't be having to work through your ideas as much while you are producing the content. And so as we see here, right, pre-production work throughout these weeks as well as supervisor meetings will be running throughout as well. And then stage 2 is due here across that sort of 3-week span. So with that, then we'll go ahead and jump into the stage 2 pre-production area here on Blackboard, weeks 3 through 5. And here is the overview where you're watching this video. You've now reached stage 2 pre-production for your multimedia project. The goal of this stage is to turn your ideas into a tangible format, laying a solid foundation for the next phase, production, right? What's so important here is your ideas, because you have, some direction of what it is you're working on, but this is really the time to work through your creative ideas, right? What is it you're going to do? What is the structure of what you're creating here? What are the ideas? What is the direction? All of that kind of stuff is determined now so that, as I always say, it becomes a lot more seamless once you start actually producing and making these things. The purpose of stage 2, it's all about brainstorming and organizing your ideas. You'll create sketches, mood boards, storyboards, scripts, wireframes, or whatever tools fit your individual project, right? So you've done this before. You should know at this point, based on what particular type of project you're working on, what sort of pre-production work needs to be done. And if you think as well, at the end of all this process, when you put together your case study, a huge chunk of that case study is the pre-production work, because as is often said by me and your other professors, it's very, very important with your portfolio to be able to not just show what you can do, but how you do it. So being able to demonstrate your creative process through your pre-production work into the production work you end up putting together is essential in being able to convey who you are as a designer, who you are as a creative person, and that tells a lot about yourself to potential employers and things like that. So pre-production stage is very important. It shows who you are and how you work, right? So really think about that as you're moving through this stage. And you would have done it before last semester. So what worked for you, what didn't work for you at that point, and how can you implement and focus on what did work for you this time around? The key takeaway, the more detailed and thorough this pre-production work is, the smoother your production stage will be. Instead of jumping directly into your design software, Figma, After Effects, use this time to get your ideas onto paper or digital equivalents first. This ensures you're working from a clear, developed creative plan rather than just ideas in your head, right? Again, trying to really give you a structure for a creative pathway here of how you're going to end up developing and creating things. Stage 2 breakdown. It's one part lasting 3 weeks. So you need to complete your pre-production work across this whole period of time, as well as attend your supervisor meeting with me. And with each submission, of course, a timesheet tracking your time and tasks throughout these weeks, and your project timeline, your project plan updated and checked off and crossed out, all that kind of stuff. Use this time to explore all of your creative ideas so that by the time you reach the production stage, everything is clearly laid out and ready for development. Again, keeps being reiterated, but that's such a important learning outcome basically of this stage and of this whole overall project process that we do in these classes. Supervisor meeting, here's information for that. The guidelines, very straightforward, just like last semester. Here is the meeting schedule that I have developed, and you'll see here, check to see if you will be meeting during week 3 or week 4. And so, it should say Friday there. So check to see when you are scheduled to meet. It's 10-minute increments, and I have these green blocks here for some breaks in my own time, so it isn't everything marathon, because that can get quite overwhelming. And then there's the meeting room link here to the team's meeting room. That's where you'll hop in for your meeting, and we'll meet there just like before. And we'll talk about your projects, right, and make sure you're on a good path moving forward. There's another link to the meeting room there. So access your schedule, check which week it is that you are meeting. Make sure you mark that in your own calendars so that you are prepared and planning for it. Each student has 10 minutes to meet. I'll do the whole breakout room thing like I've done before. Please arrive at least 5 to 10 minutes early so that I can just move through and make sure we're going through all the meetings. And there will be, of course, the general meeting room that I break out with one-on-ones. Take notes as last time, right? Take notes during the meeting for reference, for you to look back on to remember what we discussed, and to submit with your pre-production work as proof, right, that we met and that you internalized what we talked about, and you can move forward now with your project with that feedback in mind. Attendance and timesheets, log the time spent on your timesheets, and of course if you're late, if you don't give me at least a day notice, then you will need to do a makeup meeting with me and use a late waiver. Let's just hope that doesn't end up happening, but if it does, you'll have to just reach out to me to book a makeup meeting to figure that out one-on-one on a case-by-case basis. So it'll be great. That's when we'll be meeting together, talking about your projects, getting a sense of what you're up to, and learning about, again, your creative vision here for this class and for your project moving forward. And that all leads to your stage 2 submission, which includes the timesheet, the updated project plan, examples of your pre-production work, and I also need to put in here supervisor meeting notes PDF. So make sure to include that as well. There is a template here for your pre-production work, right? Very straightforward. Just like you did last time, you'll make a slide deck detailing and showing all of what you've done here, or organizing your process. And as you would have also remembered last term, this is what you end up pulling from when it comes to your case study to show this work. You have records of it, right here, that you've had to sort of create snapshots of as you move through the creative process. So it's good to have this stuff logged and archived basically for you to then use later on down the road to show how your ideas developed and to learn more about yourself and the pathway you took. Work items, right? Pre-production work, any self-directed learning you need to do, especially when it comes to new techniques with different software you may be using, different technologies, as well as the supervisor meeting also will be on your timesheet there. And then submission guidelines, right? Include a message if you'd like specific feedback. Submit as PDFs, not a zip folder. Must include all of the requested deliverables to receive a SAT, and if late, use a late waiver. That covers it, right? Very straightforward. You've been through this process before. You have a lot of time now to do this. And like I said, you're given 3 weeks of class time to be moving through this stage. We'll be meeting. You'll be getting your ideas together. And, so that should be, around 15 hours of work, right? So again, if you're thinking about a large scale project, 15 hours spent on pre-production makes sense, because that's when you're really working through all of these things and getting your ideas down. So keep that in mind as you work on this, and it will be great to see all of the work that you do. And it will be good to be meeting with you one-on-one as well, to just connect, see where you're at, see how things are coming along. And I am also working on, as I've said in other videos, getting at least one previous graduate who has a success story, was very successful, to talk with the class. I'm hoping she hasn't talked with you before, because I was speaking with another student who I realized has talked to you. So anyways, I'm sort of organizing that. Updates about that I will make sure to let you know. And, that will be very important for you to participate in, just to connect with previous graduate, learn more about, the beginning of your career and how to succeed as an MMDD graduate. So I am working on that. Okay, and I will make sure once specific information is available that I will let you know. And that's it. So please, as always, send me a message on Blackboard with any questions. I'm also happy to book additional meetings with you as well to talk through anything you might want to discuss. And otherwise, I will see you during your scheduled meeting. So I'm recording this right before this grand polar vortex. So hopefully we all also make it through that okay, and you're able to stay warm and comfortable and just keep moving forward here in the 4th semester of your program. The end will come sooner than you think. Excellent. Good luck and take care.